welcome to the Aftershow. I am Max. This is Kat. And we already have Isa there. Hello. Sorry, 1 second. I left the stream running somewhere and I'm hearing myself. Where the hell did I do that? I'll be right back with you in just a second. Okay, there we go. Sorry. I was hearing the intro again. How is everyone doing? We had a debate on feminism with Mahleej and Jake from Ultra Derp TV. And it was a mess. These debates with people like Jake are always a mess. Like it really comes down to they don't want women to be free. They just want them subjugated to men, and that is pretty disgusting. Alrighty. Before we get into it, let me get you the link. So you can join. There we go. Link is posted to the side chat. Make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe. Send this to a friend. Send this to your significant other. Go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and you'll subscribe to Yerba Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. Alrighty. Isa, how you doing? You there? Check.
Hey, I'm here. Sorry, just had to.
No problem.
Grab my headset. Where's everybody else at?
They're coming. It's okay.
They're coming. Okay, cool.
It's late. There was a little bit of a scheduling mishap with James. It was supposed to be scheduled for midnight today, and then they changed it back. So that kind of stuff is always a mess. Oh, I like that sky blue shirt. You know, because that sky blue is the color of the flag of Uruguay. So
love it. This is called the Corta. It's actually it's a South Asian top.
Kind of like a long thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very good.
It's honoring Mahleej in the debate.
And we had Tay says, "I see red. You see red. Something happened." No, he's there. Hey, Red, how you doing?
How's it going, good sir?
I'm doing awesome. We had a feminism debate on MDD. Oh boy, yes.
Not my normal subject, but I'll see if I can add anything of value. Maybe, kinda, sorta. I don't know.
We have CK saying hello, bro. Still CD says hi to Kat. And Tay says hi to Kat. Also, how are you doing? And yes, that chat is wild. Jake has way too much audience for a dumb person. And we were chatting through the debate with Isa, and we have a bit of a difference of opinion, so we might clear it up here. Because I think that Jake is dumb. And Isa thinks that he's not dumb, that he's just evil. And maybe we can clear it up and do a poll, but we'll both give our positions and then we'll let you guys decide, right? Do you think that's fair?
I mean, why not both? Maybe dumb and evil.
And evil. That is also a possibility.
It could be the case that you both are right.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be great. All right, Isa, do you want to start with thoughts on Mahleej's opening?
I'm going to be frank. I don't think it was very good. She didn't define what feminism was. That's why I asked in the chat. I'm like, if you're defending the point, you got to tell us what feminism is. We always preach, have a presentation. We didn't see a presentation. Yeah. She basically appealed to... See, the problem with feminism is this a European, quote-unquote, Western? I don't like that word Western, because West to what? Like, we always keep using this word Western. I'm like, West of what? You know, there's a thing called Journey to the West. It's a Chinese text, and it's India is the West. So is India the West? I'm like, what's the West? It's this word that I keep hearing, and it kind of is. I find it to be stupid. I find it to be a very stupid word that means nothing. I mean, if they say America's the West of what? Like, it's just it's nonsensical, and I don't like it. But that's my own space. I'm tired of, we kind of accept a lot of terms and we just let them go. And I'm like, no, I think we should challenge them. We should challenge the terms and rhetoric that we use. So she basically was telling us about stuff that happened in America, and primarily America, like the kind of suffragist movement, which is okay, cool. But I'm like, so I didn't really understand why feminism was good. I didn't know what feminism was. I didn't understand why feminism was good. It said, oh, it gave people the right to vote. Okay, cool, I guess. I can show you probably Celtic cultures in Europe. There were other cultures that were matriarchal. How do we engage that were ancient? Are they feminist? I don't know if they would have identified with that term. So I'm like, this is my problem. If you're going, I think she has a construction of what she thinks, what she calls herself in her own identity politics, which is totally cool. And I think it's difficult because there's no, solidification of what she actually believes. And I think that for me was a loss. Like, I was like, okay, it sounded very much like a modern kind of liberal person who believes in certain things, but hasn't really thought through why they believe what they believe. Like, my whole life, I'm like, why do I think what I think? What are my perspectives? I always challenge myself and critique it and say, what are the points of this type of situation? And I didn't get that from her opening. I just got a lot of arguments of stuff that I see in America and Canada. I'm like, cool. But I'm like, this is not global. It's not a kind of a narrative that we see across the world. It didn't really engage that. Later on, we'll talk about the cesspool of Pakistan. Pakistan just kept getting brought up over and over again. I'm like, it has nothing to do with this debate. A lot of racism, a lot of racist stuff, bigotry stuff that popped up. But I felt that her opening was not strong for me. So that's my
fair enough. I agree. And later she said that she didn't prepare for the debate, and that is a big no. Like, prepare, make a little presentation, lay out some points so you have a line that you follow in your opening. That's what we advocate in any kind of position, right? Whether you're advocating for feminism or saying that feminism is trash, at least make sure to build a very nice little argument, put it in a box, put a little bow on it, and make it so that it's palatable for the audience. Because on top of being a debate, this is mostly entertainment, and you could say like infotainment, right? So you need to make sure to kind of appeal to people, and people get hooked on your arguments way more. They have a bigger impact if you have a presentation. So yes, I think her opening was not strong. The problem is that when we go to the next one, Jake's opening was even weaker, I think, because he used his opening and did the one thing that we usually say don't do, which is use your opening time to address the other person as a rebuttal. That is an unfair advantage, and it also, you don't really lay out your position, right? So
yeah, that's pretty weak.
Yeah, it's super weak. So
I'll highlight something that you said, Max.
Yes, go ahead.
I once got criticized in one of my debates for sounding like a robot, sounding like I was reading off of a script. Joke's on you, motherfucker. I was reading off of a script.
Yeah.
And it's better that way, because if you take your time with a script, you can really dial in your shit. And when you present it, it's a lot cleaner. And the cleaner it is, the cleaner your presentation style, the better it is for the audience, or the easier, I should say, it is for the audience to retain that information. If you are constantly tripping over yourself, people are just going to get fucking annoyed with you. So take a little time, and as you said, put a little bow on it. Make some slides, do a PowerPoint, do something, and you'll be amazed at the results.
Yeah, that is everything. We've said this for like 2 years almost. In October is going to be 2 years since I've been kind of hosting after shows. And we've always said the same thing for everyone. Like it is important. It helps retention. It helps people guiding and having something to do, not get distracted, and that those kind of things. I have a couple of messages to read before we go on. They said, according to Jake, I shouldn't vote. My only value is to make babies, I guess. That is kind of the entailment of their position, yes.
Oh, and, boy, one of those.
Yes, it's bad. CK said, that chat said women shouldn't vote basically because of one woman debater. Men can be dumb too. Look at dumb men, flat earthers. That chat was toxic, and I was there for less than 5 minutes. I went over to Jake's chat. If you thought the chat was toxic on MDD, oh my god, his chat is absolutely insane. We had Rachel Wilson just throwing super chats with factually incorrect information, and then Jake repeating what Rachel told him falsely, and that kind of stuff. It's wild. Dan says, how the F does Max have time to watch all these debates? Do you sleep? I sleep very little. And I am not doing much else other than, working, the occasional date here and there, and doing this. So, yeah, I think that's your answer. Hello, my friend. Aloha to you. So, Isa, thoughts on Jake's opening?
It was repulsive. It was repulsive. I mean, I think that's what I could say. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Like, it reminds me of, I don't know what the term that I would use to cover all of these people, but I think I need to create a term. But it's like this kind of quote unquote conservative man that's completely paranoid and afraid of this new corrupted world, and it needs to be purged of all the evil that's coming into it. And we need to go back to a good time, a good time where, people of different cultures couldn't get married, a good time where, there was rampant oppression and, people suffered greatly, because they didn't have, resources and, feudalistic systems, that's the wonderful good time that a lot of these folks want to go back to, because, it was a time then they were on top. When all of these disgusting, gross people of color are coming around, why are they coming to my country? They're perverting my country. We want our beautiful nuclear family, that goes back to beautiful Christian values. But it's not Christian values. It's European white Christian values. We want these repulsive brown people that want to marry their cousins out of our country. Even though their values that we're critiquing are very similar to our own, we got to get them out. Maybe a mirror is a difficult thing. When you see your own reflection in the mirror, it's like, you want to punch that mirror because the reflection is so repulsive and gross. You don't really want to see yourself. So, that's what you have to do. You have to crack and break that mirror because, you're really just seeing yourself. But to get deep into the debate, his opening, I think it reminded me a lot of Dragon Arts. It reminds me a lot of this kind of, it's this kind of rah for this kind of, this ideal, the white American ideal, the white Christian American ideal, which is, as a person who's spent my whole life studying religion, I'm like, this has nothing to do with Christianity, has nothing to do with Jesus, it has nothing to do with the New Testament. It's a completely constructed ideology that is using the legitimacy of Christianity. It's riding that legitimacy of this tradition to kind of promote this kind of, in my opinion, really repugnant ideology. It's a repugnant ideology.
Was that this Jake's position?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That because Jesus, therefore I get to hate women or some shit like that?
Well, it's basically saying I get to have, there's an ideal society of what is good, what is true, what is noble. And all of this other stuff, this disgusting feminism, this disgusting modernity, it's bringing us back to the Dark Ages. We need, it's not even bringing us to the Dark Ages. It's bringing us into this perverted future. We need to go back to the Dark Ages because the Dark Ages were good. Those were the noble times. Those were the good times. The Dark Ages were good. And this,
so just to make sure I understand this, he is of the opinion that if women have the opportunity to vote, society is going to get worse.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's the idea that women, well, because it goes back to the idea of Adam and Eve and original sin. Eve persuades Adam to eat the apple, and Adam falls from it. So I believe that's where his ideology is coming from. The original sin is because of women. Women have corrupted and destroyed, the future for men. So I think it's tied to that. It's tied to a very theological position.
Correct.
And when I listened to it, I was like, first of all, your point is to defend. You have to argue why feminism's not good. He basically, in the end of the debate, he talks about, because I asked the question. He says, feminism's egalitarianism, and I was like, and that's bad. Equality is a bad thing. Equity is a bad thing. I'm like, this is strange to me. He's like, and to the structure of patriarchy, and I'm like, my position against him, if I was debating him, I'm like, what about if the man is Hitler? What about if the man is Stalin? What if the man is Pol Pot? Is that good? Do you want that man as their head of household? Is that a good man? Because your problem is if you make an absolute generalization, then you have to take all of the absolute stuff with it. So if you're saying any man should be the leader, then you have to take, Peter the Great. You have to take all of these men who slaughtered masses of amounts of people. Do you want them as your head of household? Should they be the ones who get to vote? I'm like, it's ridiculous. The idea that, men just inherently of being a man, you have this power. And I'm like, first of all, Christianity, yes, this is where you can kind of derive it more from a Pauline literature. But the problem with that is Paul was a celibate. So if Paul is talking about marriage, it's more like this is an expiation for the Christian community, that you're like, okay, if you're going to get married, these are the kind of things you do. But the ideal of Paul, as well as the apostles, as well as Christ, was celibacy. That's what's promoted. So it's like, I find it bizarre when I keep hearing about, the nuclear family values. I'm like, that's not what this text promotes. That's not what the heroes of this text do. So when you keep repeating this talking point, it's ridiculous. And you're trying to tie it to this religion that does not promote the value you're saying it does. Neither here nor there. But that's kind of the tying of what and he also didn't have a presentation either. So that's a fail. He didn't have his PowerPoint. He just basically said, the same thing that I heard from Daniel Hakikachu, like the pleasure machine and the evil liberalism. Liberalism is so evil. It's so bad. It's so regressive. My worldview is so beautiful. Let's have, knights in armor and, we won't have any health care. We don't have any science. Let's throw science away. Let's walk around in our chainmail and our like Zvi hand
with our swords.
Yeah,
we're gonna have
swords.
We'll have swords. We'll have chainmail. We'll have guns, and we're gonna build a wall. It's gonna be huge.
That's it. It's like, and I'm like, it's such a horrific idea, but like that's the idea. We'll just walk around and just have endless battles like Valhalla, just endless fighting and blood for the rest of, for eternity. What a beautiful reality.
We're gonna build a wall, and guess what? Max will pay for it.
Mexico is gonna pay for it. Yes.
Yeah. Here's my thing. So let's assume, just for the sake of argument, that the Adam and Eve story isn't complete bullshit. It totally is, by the way. It's complete, total bullshit. It is the most bullshit of all bullshitters. It is the biggest bullshit story, if a bullshit story could be even more bullshit than it actually is. It is complete and total bullshit. And but let's go ahead and assume that isn't, but it totally is. Just because the woman was the first douchebag, does that mean that there weren't men douchebag after that? Because I can think of a few male douchebags out there. Hitler seems like a pretty big douchebag.
You don't need to move that far. You have the next story over. You have Cain, one of the sons of Adam and Eve, killing his brother.
I mean, Vlad the Impaler was a bit of a douchebag. Vlad the Impaler, he was a bit of a...
So, in order so that you finish falling off of your chair, in his opening, Jake said that if you take feminism to its logical conclusion, that would lead for Canada, for example, to become Pakistan. And that's where like the racism, like blatant racism started. Because he was talking about how everyone in Pakistan is dumb and how they're all inbred and this and that. Like, holy cow. Like, seriously.
If I understand now, everyone's definition of feminism is a little bit different, and I understand that. But I believe, like at its core, feminism is the opinion that you shouldn't see females as lesser. How is that a bad thing?
Right.
Yeah, that's not going to lead to us turning into Pakistan or whatever, or the total destruction of society. If you see women as just as valuable as men, then that's actually a good thing, I would assume. Like, I fail to see the downside in that. Yes, you're gonna have women that are complete assholes, but you also have men that are complete assholes. It's almost like, I don't know, humans are complicated.
Yeah. Dr. J, welcome. Hello. What are you drinking? It's not alcohol. Dr. J does not drink.
It is Diet Dr. or actually Dr. Pepper Zero. That is what I'm drinking like 90% of the time. So
cool. Dr. J drinks a lot of soda. I've never met anyone who like, seriously, water.
Also, Tim Hunter gives a very good point. I don't value either. Exactly. At the very least, everyone is equally worthless.
I mean, that would be a more fair assumption.
It's still totally fair. Like, either everyone has value or everyone doesn't have any value at all, and you're all just worthless. Fuck all of you.
Dr. J, I'm going to hand it over to you in a second to give us, so you can give us your overview of the openings. But Leo says they have been trying to kick parts of my brown ass family out since we were no longer free labor, and he prefers to call it stolen labor. And that is sad. And hopefully it's getting better. I hope. I wish. In Uruguay, racism has never been a problem, but I hope that it gets better and we can get past racism sometime, hopefully. No compromise anyone. One side mentions only the horrible stuff and the other only the good stuff. Well, that tends to happen in a debate. I've learned from Isa to do a little bit more of a mea culpa, like, okay, this is my position, these are the good parts of my position, and acknowledge, okay, these are the shortcomings of my position. But yeah, in general, that doesn't happen because it makes you look weak in a debate, and debates are all about looking strong.
Yeah, I don't really go into a debate with the intention of giving the flat earther any lead whatsoever. When I knock your ass down in the first round, I'm keeping you there, bitch.
Brandon World says, you don't need to be LGBT or have different skin color to suffer. I'm suffering just because I'm disabled. I agree. And it's not limited to, and we are in no way trying to minimize the suffering of other communities. No, I completely agree, Brandon. And we also hope that changes in the future. Still City, didn't you see the movie Year One? Abel just tripped and fell, bashed his own head on the rock several times. Cain did nothing. All right, Dr. J, summary of both openings, if you will, please.
I did see both openings. They had prepared openings. Seemed like the guy's opening was, you're going to turn us to Pakistan because you're going to vote for policies that are going to bring Pakistanis over, and then they're going to turn Canada into Pakistan, so you're bad. That was at least a big part of his argument. I don't know how that was super substantiated, but that was his claim. And her claims were, women should have equality. I don't know. It's a weird position for her to have. What is she just saying? Like, yeah, women should be able to vote. It's good. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, that seems hard to justify. I mean, even if you said, well, society would be better if we treated women badly, and you're like, wait a second, or treated women how they don't want to be treated. It's like, wait, we have a good society, but 50% of the people are treating badly because I guess they don't know what's good for them. I don't know. So anyway, I think it's a weird position for her to argue. Maybe I need to read some, literature from the 1960s when people were having these arguments, because it seems almost self-evident that the women, they should get to vote. But apparently, we're considering regressing on that particular issue.
Yeah, that is a big, and it has happened. I didn't. It's not our general thing. Like, for example, when the U.S. overturned Roe v. Wade, it's not. I can't really think off the top of my head of anywhere in the world as an example that has gained rights and then those rights have been taken back. I can't think of any. If anyone can come up with something like that, because I can't think of any.
Isn't it Iraq? Isn't Iraq used to be pretty liberal, and then they got a conservative Muslim leadership?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Massive step back. Massive step back.
Correct. Yes, that is true. Thank you. Thank you for that example. Okay. So, yeah, the openings weren't. They weren't anything to write home about. They were both bad, really. Honestly, both equally. Yes.
Do you mind?
Go ahead.
I want to say, so if I were to pimp their openings, what I would have said, if I were to make the best opening for each of them. So if I were Mahleej, I would say, look, you want societies where you have healthy, where everybody in the society is able to contribute, because it makes a stronger and healthier society. So it doesn't matter. I don't have to just defend women, but we need the more bodies we have, the better our outcomes are going to be. So you need to have women perspectives, because you're having differing perspectives using data showcases that you're going to have a stronger, more cohesive, governments. So it's good to have these differing positions. If you just have a few people running the society, what you're going to have is an oligarchy. Is that really what you want? Do you really want like a Roman Republic where you just have a few folks who, have grant a lot of power to a few people? We've seen that system. It doesn't work. It's not really good. It collapses. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. This is not a good position. I would say, we want to have as many bodies here as possible. And why would you want to exclude women? Women are paying taxes. They are owning property. They're citizens just like everyone else. That's just the way it works. And I wouldn't get into emotional arguments. I would just say, look, this is practical. This is a very pragmatic, practical way to do it.
I think the main issue was the fact that if women are given equal rights, that means that they have the right to vote. If we give them the right to vote, then they're going to vote for liberal policies. I don't like liberal policies, therefore it is bad. I don't want people having, universal health care or affordable housing, or having our veterans not get kicked out on the street, or having a guy who is most definitely not on the Epstein list in the White House. I don't like any of those things. And if we give women the right to vote, they're going to vote for all these awful things like making billionaires pay taxes instead of shipping it to offshore accounts and shit like that. That seems to be the main crux of the issue, in which case he's actually undermining his own position there, because I guess if that's where we're going with this, giving women the right to vote and just rights in general seems like a fucking awesome idea. Let's do it. I want more of that shit.
Yeah. And it's funny because Reds did not watch the debate, and he basically laid out Jake's position straight, because that's exactly what Jake said. Women vote, and women vote for immigration. And like, dude, that's not like, what? Why are you talking about immigration in a feminism debate? It has nothing to do with this.
Max, a quick question. Do you know the logo that I have on my screen right now? The logo I've been using for years.
Yes, sir.
Did I ever tell you what the colors represent?
No.
Okay, the colors represent the Polish flag.
Uh-huh.
And the reason is because I'm Polish. My family came here as immigrants.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? I would argue that America is better for it because now it has me, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always
And when
we've had the after shows for the immigration debate, and yeah, immigration it's great.
and the thing is that if you completely isolate yourself, then you essentially pretty much eliminate the possibility of getting the best and the brightest from all over the world. You have a much better chance of looking worldwide than just within your own country if you want to dominate in certain sectors. I'm sorry, it's just the case. And make it be stereotypical if you want. I'm going to be for 5 seconds. I don't care. Cancel me, bitch. But did you see the American Olympiad team? they're all like immigrants from China. Like, bro, now they're representing the Stars and Stripes, motherfucker. We got the brains now. Yeah, suck it. Suck it, President G. You ain't got shit on us. Winnie the Pooh looking bitch.
So to go further,
go ahead.
So the thing is, so that was the argument that Mahleej should have made, right? So the argument that Jake should have made, a stronger argument that Jake should have made, is like, so Jake's position was exactly what we have been saying before. It's paranoia. It's Red Dawn. It's this idea of like if you've seen the 80s movie Red Dawn, they made a remake of it too. But it's this idea that, our beautiful, pristine society is going to be overturned by this corrupted new generation that's satanic and demonic. Like that's the position he's making. So I'm going to try to use that framework, but try to make it stronger. It's hard. It's a hard framework to work with, but I'm going to try to go with it. I'm going to go with that framework. So I would say, look, I would go strong with just religion. I would focus on the religious values. I wouldn't try to pretend that I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to say, look, we have a divine source. We have God. God has instructed us on how to be moral and how to be ethical. We have seen in the scriptures that when we defy what God tells us, our world gets destroyed. Our world gets it gets ruined. Anytime we disobey God, we pay the price. We have to follow with the alliance with God. And what God wants us to do is to be married and and be fruitful and multiply. We need to do that. And we need to follow the guidance of God. We need to have the man be the priest. Because if we do all of these things, then we're going to have a holy, right society. Whenever we disobey God, this is when we have floods. This is when we have all of these terrible situations. So we have to be meditate within this situation. These other situations that are coming up are ungodly. Thus, they are bad. Thus, they will be destructive to society. When we are completely connected to God's will, things go right. Things go good. And I think if he took something more, he needed to refine it more like that, because that's kind of what he's trying to say. But saying, all the conspiracy and stuff, it doesn't really help where he's trying to go with it. He should just go all the way. Go all the way with where you're going with that position and be consistent with that.
His position was, I can be an asshole because God told me to be an asshole. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, the thing is, he doesn't think he is one. He thinks he's the noble, good person. He thinks all these prostitutes and OnlyFans and all of these corruptions of society, they're the assholes, not him.
So
he's the good person.
OnlyFans is a corruption of society. I'm going to have to research this. Ladies, if you have any OnlyFans that you wish to, link in the live chat, I'm going to need this for research purposes.
Mahleej has an OnlyFans, but it's an OnlyFans where she talks about Islam, and that broke Jake. That literally broke Jake. Like, no, how come you're in OnlyFans and you're not taking your clothes off? Yes, Jake. For a while, a couple of years ago, the most popular OnlyFans content creator was a granny that taught knitting on OnlyFans. It's not just for porn.
Well, and here's another thing about OnlyFans. Even if you did do adult content, it doesn't have to be like it could be like solo content. It doesn't have to be with a partner. OnlyFans is a very broad spectrum. It's just that there's an assumption that OnlyFans is basically just pornography. You know what I mean? So it's like
and the counterpart is the porn industry, which is inherently exploitative and very cruel and that kind of so I mean, in a way, like OnlyFans is actually quite good. So,
and I'm going to be with you. You know, with the problems that it may have, it is far superior to the traditional pornography industry, because people own their own content. Yeah, you know, it's a crazy kind of celebrity now. You know, you have, what is it, Little Tay and Sophie Rain, and they're competing about who is getting the most millions of dollars. And I mean, it's a bizarre space, but I mean, again, you know, they're owning their own content, and that it is what it is, you know.
mm-hmm. Dr. J, what's on your mind? You're muted.
I don't know anything about OnlyFans, particularly, so that's
It's okay.
It's okay. You can be honest with us.
No,
come
on.
I can. I don't know. As far as the debate went, it's just super odd. I mean, I you know, Issa's suggesting he just go into religious stuff. I actually thought of it more as like it's like the grievance Olympics. It's like, I'm gay, everybody hates me, my life's the worst. I'm black, everybody hates me, life's worse. Now the white guys are getting into it. You know, we're all committing suicide because, you know, this is this. It just felt like this guy had all these grievances, and everybody is like, it's like the grievances Olympics around. It's like, I mean, I've been to Max's house. It's like, as far as his old one, at least. I can't remember if you've moved, Max, since I've been there.
No, I haven't moved yet.
As far as like houses go, it's as far as an American standard house, it is like super average, right? Like it's a lot of Americans would say Max's house isn't good enough. And I'm like, Max likes his house just fine. He doesn't bellyache about it. And we're a bunch of whining babies about how we're not getting, you know, what good enough life. And I just felt like there's just a lot of grievances going on. And one thing I appreciated about her was she was like, I like Canada. I think things are going great. I like being able to vote here. I have rights here. I want to keep a lot of the good things we have going. So anyway, I really appreciated that about her. She was not saying how everything was going to crap, and he is, kind of jumping on the everything's terrible bandwagon. So anyway, I appreciated her more positive attitude about Canada.
Yeah, and the giant strawman of him continuously repeating, like, yeah, you want to turn the West into Pakistan, and that didn't follow like for a second. And that's the thing that kind of sparked a discussion between me and Isa on, is Jake dumb or just plain evil, or both? And I don't know. I think it's just that all of these ortho bros, they're just dumb. And lack empathy and that kind of stuff. They don't. He was like, the emotions are bad. Women vote with their emotions. It's like, dude, yeah, emotions are quintessential to the human experience. You cannot think without considering your emotions. That's just the case.
He's the one belly aching that he doesn't have a wife to boss around at home. Well, he's the one whining about that. Goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Like,
when I see my childhood home, that my father purchased for $85,000 being on the market for $400,000 today, I do get a little emotional. Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's things that aren't perfect, but if you could pick, I sometimes play this game. You can't pick what your race would be. You can't pick what your gender would be. You can't pick what country you're in. You can choose nothing. Pick a year you would like to be born in human history. And you know what the year everyone always picks? This year. If you can't choose what color you're going to be, and you can't choose what country or where in the world you're going to be, you can't choose anything, what race, you're going to choose today. So all the belly aching sometimes gets a little annoying, even though I agree there's problems.
There are problems for sure, but when people say, oh no, society is breaking down, there's degeneracy everywhere, and we're all going to hell, humanity is going extinct, and it's like, dude, no, that's it. We live in the best time ever. There's never been a better time than now, and it's only going to be better in the future. Do we have problems? Sure. Degeneracy, love it. But the other stuff, it doesn't matter what kind of minority. You have protections. You have people just don't go around just killing people left and right. it's sad when people want, like, oh yeah, I want to go back to medieval times so that I have to go around walking with my flail in hand because bandits are going to attack me.
Oh boy, nothing like a good old bubonic plague to start the
Oh,
morning.
Absolutely.
or I mean, the U.S. has had a case of the Black Plague that, like, last week in California. So we are bringing them back. We are bringing all of the old diseases back. We're bringing botulism. We're bringing tuberculosis and
Yeah,
and
let's
the
just
yellow fever.
RFK is getting on all those things. Believe me, just give it time. Also, it seems like this really isn't a feminism versus whatever the fuck Jake is, men's right activist, whatever the fuck. It seems like this was more of a debate of what policies you should vote for, and his fear that women tend to vote for policies that are directly contradictory to his policies. So it's more like a left versus right policy debate.
I kind of agree. It seems like he would be happy to disenfranchise anybody that voted any way that disagree with him.
Yes.
Whatever criteria. Like, people with glasses seem to not vote how I like. We should not have them vote anymore. I completely agree.
Yes, Max, you're fucked.
Yes, I'm fucked because I have glasses and I'm bald, so I wouldn't vote in any kind of way.
It's okay. But you will always, you no matter how big your glasses are, no matter how bald you get, you will always be my little spoon.
Oh, thank you so much. So then we went into the open discussion, and I think Mahleej has greatly improved. I told this to Isa. I think Mahleej she's been getting better as subsequent debates have been happening. The first time I remember her, and my criticism was like, wow, she made all emotional arguments. She didn't make any logical arguments, and she also got super riled up and that kind of a thing. But I think she is coming. She's growing as a debater, and I'd love to see that her improvement. On Jake's side,
what's really difficult, especially when you're in the moment, is not getting carried away. If you find a target, sometimes it can be very difficult to stay on target and to really drive the point home. It's very easy to get sidetracked, and when you do that, you tend to give your opponent a bit of an advantage. So a little bit more time in the ring, would be good and helpful. And after a while, it becomes second nature, honestly. But if that's what we were seeing in this debate, I didn't watch the damn thing, so I wouldn't know. But if that's what we were seeing, all I would say is give it time, and the wrinkles will iron themselves out.
Mm-hmm. Real Signal says Polish joke pronounced "stu spowe łamanymi nogami." I don't know if you speak Polish, but I don't, and I don't know what I just said. So
I'm pretty sure the spelling is wrong. I could use Google Translate and attempt. No, I haven't been. I don't speak Polish. I just claim the Polish heritage because I like their food. I'm sorry, pierogies are fucking awesome. But I have been learning a second language. The second language I've been learning is Spanish. Like check it out. Check out my progress. Bonjour. That's all I've got so far.
Thoughts on the open discussion, Isa?
So I'm going to be honest. In the beginning, I was highly disappointed on both sides. I was like, this is just, they're not talking about the topic. It's not talking about feminism. It's not engaging anything. And it's just really all about Pakistan. I'm like, Pakistan seemed to be the center.
Yeah.
However, I think Mahleej turned the tables when she was like, or Molly turned the tables when she was like, well, you keep critiquing Pakistan, but you sure sound like a Pakistani. When she said that, I was like, it's done. You keep attacking Pakistan. You're the Pakistani. All this regressive stuff that you're challenging and saying it's regressive, you're the same thing. You're no different. You're the thing that I was running away from. You're the scary person. You're the fiend. You keep saying you're the bad guy, that they're the bad guys. look in the mirror, you're the same thing. And I was like, oh shoot. I was like, wow. That was a strong point. That was a strong like counter, because he was obsessed with the Pakistan. He kept calling it Pakistan, and she was like Pakistan. It was wild. That I'm like, you don't know anything about South Asia, dude. Like, that's my field. The subcontinent is my stuff. Like, I know a lot about South Asia. I'm going to do my dissertation on South Asia. South Asia is my big thing. This Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. That's my kind of bread and butter. I know it very, very well. I know the history. I know the kind of the texts from the region. That's kind of what I understand quite well. And it's like, for him, it's like he's like, oh, they're Muslim and they marry their cousins. Like, this is his degree of knowledge of what's going on in Pakistan. He doesn't really know anything about this region. He doesn't know anything about the politics. But it's like the ego and arrogance that came out of talking about that. We could talk about Australia and say, dude, you're from the penal colony. Who are you to talk about? You're the descendant of criminals. Are you the person to talk about the criminality of Pure Land? You're a descendant of criminals, weren't you? You're the rejects of Britain, aren't you? You're the rejects of Britain that they threw out. So I'm like,
right?
This is not. You're not the one to talk about moral ethics of any country. You know what I'm saying? You should take a chill pill, brother.
But we would never. The difference is we would never say that anything like that, remotely even close, right? We wouldn't consider that to be making an argument.
Exactly. I mean, because what it is, it's poisoning the well. And you hear that, and I'm just like, you keep attacking Pakistan. You know nothing about Pakistan. And if people did that about you in Australia, Australia doesn't have a very good history. Like, even with the Aboriginals, there's a lot of.
Oh yeah.
It's really, really dark. It's really brutal. It's really bad. I've been to Australia, actually, and I loved it. I had a great time there, and I love the people there. I'm just like, it's a lot more complex. Don't throw stones from glass houses, brother. Like, that's my position. Oh, you're heading out.
Wait, Dr. J is leaving. Want to say something before?
I'm going to try to come back if I can. I don't know how I'm planning on doing tonight. I should be gone for 20 minutes or so. Sometimes you go longer, but so maybe I'll catch you. But I did want to say, I thought Molly has improved as well. I definitely have noticed she's gotten better. I'm not saying she's God's gift to debating or anything, but big improvement over last time. So I was in agreement on there. But maybe I'll catch you guys here in a bit, but I need to jump off. So good to see you.
All right.
Peace, brother. So to continue the point on the open discussion, I the thing is, like you were saying, Jake is dumb. I don't think he's dumb. I think he's intentional. He's repeating the same points because what happens is his audience is giving him super chats. So I was like, is this really evil and wicked? I actually was thinking about this, and I'm like, no, it's really capitalist. What he's doing is like, it's the same kind of, you're feeding into this frenzy. You have these people who are disaffected, like Dr. J is saying. These people like, you know, there's this song, How Could This Happen to Me? Like this idea, they call it angry white boy music. Weird Al did a funny compilation called Angry White Boy Polka, because he does like polka stuff. And he compiled all of these like songs of like these angry white boys that are singing. And then, you know, he has little clips from each of them and that he sings. And it's hilarious because it's like, that's what it is. You have disaffected people who feel like they don't have value and they're trying to regain some kind of humanity in a sense. They're trying to gain this idea of being special because they feel like they're not special. They feel like they're losers. This is what I feel. It's complete insecurity. It's complete inferiority complex. It's complete fear and sadness. It's all of this stuff. So what do? They have to act like more boisterous, act more arrogant, act more rude, because in reality they stand on nothing. They don't have any substance. They lack substance. So what do? They say, you know, everything is terrible and bad, but you know, we're the special, noble, good ones. And in reality, it's because they really don't feel that way. And they're trying to do that to reclaim. It's like a bully. When a bully bullies folks, what they do is, because they feel so inferior, what they do is that they have to project their inferiorities on the victim that they are targeting because, you know, they feel insignificant. And it's tragic. It's a tragedy that I'm seeing. It reminds me of American History X. It's the same thing where you see this poor working class family and they're saying, oh my gosh, these black people are being successful. And, he threw his pot shots at black people too. Obviously he couldn't help himself.
Yeah, that was disgusting also.
He has to attack black people. He has to attack brown people. He's a real stellar guy, but what he's doing is actually kind of brilliant because it's this kind of maneuver where it's like, I'm just going to keep saying these horrible things because people are going to keep giving me money. Because the people who are really horrible are the people who are sending the super chats, because they keep sending these super chats because it gives them significance. It gives them value. They have to hurt other people to give themselves value. It's a really sickening kind of cycle, but that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, that's what's going on here. That's literally what's happening. So I think there's a lot of like trauma and hate and there's a lot of problems.
Is he like trying to be Ben Shapiro or something?
No, they are the Ortho Bro kind of a group, and they are all for that kind of stuff. They say that women shouldn't vote. This guy Jake said that it should be 1 vote per household, and of course, it's a man that votes. No, they just want to live in the past.
So he's a shittier version of Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Ben Shapiro himself, but
consider yourself lucky.
Coco Rose came in and said, "LOL, why are we attacking Australia?" No, we were just just
motherfuckers got some big ass fucking spiders down there.
No, we were just making an argument because Jake was being horrible with people from Pakistan, like gratuitously. So Isa was kind of turning it around on him and being a little bit horrible to him in return.
Yeah, it sounds like his only goal here is just to make money off of being basically a racist and a sexist. I don't see that as even remotely entertaining or interesting. And the fact that people can actually make money off of that is very depressing.
It is quite depressing, but yes, he has 800,000 subscribers.
He has how many?
800,000.
Society is so fucking cooked.
Yes. When they say like Western society is going to shambles, he's like, yeah, because you freaking Nazis get 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think that is why.
Hitler.
Yes.
That was good. That was a fucking good one.
Isa, the other thing that I was thinking is that you mentioned insecurities and that kind of stuff. I think that these men, these weak-ass, pathetic men, are really intimidated by strong women because they think that if a woman is strong and she can actually get her freaking stuff and leave anytime that she wants, it will force them to, be a better person, right? So they are terrified of women who can just choose not to have you in their lives, right? They're super intimidated by a woman that can just say, I don't need you to buy me food. I don't need you to pay my rent. Either you're good enough so that I actively choose to be with you every day, or I'm gone, right? I think that stands from that fear of not being able to find a partner because they can just leave.
Are you saying that this person may have to work to have some redeeming qualities?
Yes. And They don't like that. They don't like that at all.
Oh, that is just terrible.
In their idea, it's like, oh yeah, man, the provider is like, but in general, when you speak to women, they don't really care if you're a provider. If she loves you and you're both happy and you make each other happy, she will be fucking hungry with you and it will be okay. And there's no problem. But they think that the man's role is just to be a provider, and that basically takes care of everything, that you can just be horrible, and because you provide, then you're entitled to that. And that is just absolutely disgusting.
No, there's someone I know from my family, and when they were growing up, on the distant side of the family, distant side of the family. When they were growing up, they were broke as shit, absolutely broke as shit, almost had no money. He was able to find someone and they started dating. And this lady was absolutely loaded, came from a very wealthy family. And there was some tension between the family and the guy, because the guy was dating their daughter and whatever. And they were low. It's like, oh, he's not high class enough for you. And they're about to celebrate their 20th anniversary.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, yeah, you might have to actually work to have some redeeming qualities that would make the woman want to spend time with you. If the only thing you have is a ball and chain, I doubt that's going to be very appealing to them. And honestly, it sounds like there's two things going on here now that you've brought this up. One, he doesn't like leftist policies because, God forbid, we get, free healthcare, free at the point of service, and people don't go bankrupt because of that shit. So that's number one. But he also seems to be a fucking incel, in that he can't get a date, and that no woman actually wants to spend time with him because he's just so insufferable and kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he's really good looking. That is the thing. It's like, dude, if you weren't such a raging asshole, you would have your dick wet all the time.
I have the face that makes children cry. My face has been deemed a weapon of mass destruction by the Geneva Convention. I was driving around for the longest time in a fucking Chevy Spark. I am a fucking nerd that likes telescopes, and I've been able to get laid. It's possible. Holy fuck. You just have to not be a total fucking asshole.
Yes. Like, dude, I'm not the best looking. I'm not hideous, but I'm not the best looking. And ladies like intelligence. They like humor. They like not. I cook, for example. Jake said, "Oh yeah, I don't cook," and it's like, why am I not surprised? It's like, dude, you know how much of a panty dropper cooking is? You have no idea. Like, I don't know why it is, but
it seems
I
like
always get lucky when I cook.
Well, he's found himself in a bit of a corner here, because if he were to change for the better, he's going to lose his 800,000 subscribers. Yeah. He's going to lose his cash cow, and it's like, man, I've built a comfortable life for myself being a total fucking asshole. But being a total fucking asshole basically guarantees that I'm going to die alone. Man, I got some difficult choices here. But so on one hand, I have the money by being an asshole on the internet, or I have money and dying alone, or not having money and possibly not dying alone. Choices, man, choices.
Lindsay said, not all women cook. Yeah, I know, not all women cook.
So,
but I don't know, men that cook, at least here, men that cook, like the ladies love that. Just in my personal experience. Isa, go ahead.
I think this is a performance. Like, that's really what came to me. I'm like, the whole thing's a performance. He probably has a lot of females that he hangs out with. This is just a performance that he puts on, and he makes a lot of money from it. And I mean, in a capitalist system, how can I blame him? That's what you make money from, this type of thing. And that's what I think from all of these guys. I'm just like, I thought about it, I'm like, these things sound so evil, but I'm like, it's cynical. The whole thing is cynical. The thing is about making money. You say the most egregious stuff, you're a shock jocker. These are all shock jockers. They're coming out like, Howard Stern, Ben Shapiro, Reds mentioned that. I know from the Jewish segment. I know about Ben Shapiro quite well. He's this Orthodox Jewish person who is this big shock jocker. It's funny, he works with evangelical Christians a lot of the time, and I'm like, that's bizarre. I'm like, and they're like, oh, they love Israel. I'm like, not quite. They love Israel in the sense that they believe in a doomsday where they want the Jews to have Israel so they can kill all the Jews. I'm like, it's not It's not really the greatest bedfellow to have, you know what I mean? Just saying, you know. But I was thinking about it, and I'm like, this is cynical. This whole thing is cynical. Say the most egregious, most horrendous thing, and people will pay you money.
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, it's like you're accusing OnlyFans of being bad, but I'm like, aren't you doing OnlyFans too? This is a different kind of pornography. This is pornography also. It's like it's like incel conservative pornography. I'm going to say the most horrendous, awful stuff, and I'll keep repeating the thing over and over again. Send me super chats, and I'm like, wow. It reminds me of this Twilight Dark Mirror episode. I think I talked about it's like the 50 million like credit or something, where the people, the whole culture, just they're running on like a bicycle treadmill thing, and they keep getting like credits and stuff, and then if they get enough credits they can get a ticket to get on like on this sort of like America's Top Voice or Top Model or whatever, you know.
That's the one with the redhead, right? I love that woman.
She might be in it. I remember there was like a South Asian woman, and then they have like a prostitute like a pornography channel that they have to watch, and you have to give credits to cancel it. But I was like, this is interesting. I'm like, wow, this is I get it. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm like, if you just keep in this kind of, in our world of just sensationalism, just keep popping out the most sensational stuff, people are going to give you a lot of money. And I'm like,
one could make the argument that if he doesn't really hold to those positions, that he is also a prostitute because he's selling his ideology. And don't get me wrong, I don't feel that sex work is bad or anything like that. But someone who would sell their ideology, that is the lowest of the low for me.
It feels like it's all like a prostitution. That's kind of what it is nowadays. Like everything, you're just selling yourself, and you're making money. It's a capitalist world.
You're recording yourself and selling the footage of your own mental masturbation.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, that's literally what I felt.
Sir Little Wolf said Red's face made Ray Charles flinch. Steel City.
Preach.
Steel City says, when I think of what you look like, I start with a large March face and work backwards from there. Tell them Red's rhetoric sent you. And Leo says, ladies sometimes don't like a guy. Even more likely, a connection is what the guy wants, and it doesn't happen. I have coached a few over the hump, but for some, complicated, and cooking is great. I think that's what they give me, the idea that they need their woman to stay, and if they could remove divorce law. I heard Andrew Wilson say that we should get rid of no-fault divorce. And it's like, oh, that kind of gives me the impression that the only reason why you're not just like beating on your wife is that it's illegal and you would go to jail. You can't fool me and tell me if you want to get rid of no-fault divorce, that you're not wanting to do a little bit of a love tap, the bad kind, on your wife.
I mean, I want to know what happened in this dude's life that made him like so angry at women. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, listen. I've dated my share of fucking asshole bitches as well. I understand this, but I'm not gonna make that my entire personality. Holy fuck, dude! Let it go. Just let it go. Move on.
Isa, what were you going to say?
What I was going to say is, I'm going to take the position again. I think it's cynical. I don't think he actually believes this stuff. I don't think any of them do. I think they make a lot of money from it. I met Andrew Wilson. He seemed like a really chill, cool dude, like in person. But what he's doing is he's making a lot of money with the Crucible. He goes on the Crucible. I went to the channel. I got gifted a membership there too. So I went to the Crucible, and I've listened to the Crucible, and I'm like, this dude is like, he's a rock and roller. Like when I see Whitson, I'm like, these guys are making bank. They just say this stuff and people give them money. And I'm like, in a capitalist world, can I blame these people? They're you know, don't hate the player, hate the game. They're just doing the game. They're like, we found this kind of niche where people are going to give us lots of money. when we just say the most outrageous stuff. And I'm like, it's just like those talk show hosts at night that say crazy, outlandish things, and people give them lots of money. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
they say stupid shit like we shouldn't care about women's opinion, and people will just throw money at them. Like, wow. On this episode of That Was a Horrible Take.
Yeah, that is a little bit disturbing. Catherine MC says, "You are my favorite channel." Well, thank you so much. I know we've had some problems in the past, but we're past that, and everything is good now. As long as it stays that way, we're all good. But thank you. That means a lot. Isa, let me ask you, what are some telltale signs without looking at someone's IQ? What are some telltale signs to you within the debate sphere that someone is smart?
So when I think someone is really smart, it's someone that can actually represent their opponent's argument really well, where they're like, they can actually listen and they're like, look, I hear what you're saying. And how they do the debate, they're able to engage their opponent's position and be able to kind of debunk the weaknesses they see in their position with kind of promoting and supporting their own argument. When I think of someone who lacks intelligence within a debate, it's someone that just keeps promoting their own position over and over and over again, and they can't hear anything outside their own narrative. And I'm like, and I've seen this on modern day debates sometimes where I'm just like, you really didn't hear this other person, and you're not here to have a debate. You're here to preach. You're here to preach a position. And I'm like, I'm not going to say it's stupid, but I would say that it's a lacking of emotional intelligence, not intelligence quota like the IQ, but it's lacking emotional intelligence where you're not able to, you lack kind of social sensibilities. That's something I've seen it. And I'm like, you cannot represent the other person's position. And I'm like, then why are you debating? Like, what is the debate? You can't actually hear anything outside your own perspective. So I think the strongest debater is the one who's like, I've heard everything you say, and I can show the weaknesses of what you said. And this is why my position's good. And not only do they show that their weaknesses are bad, because it's two steps. You show the weaknesses in your opponent's position, and you show the strengths of your own. See, Andrew Wilson gets one part of that really well. He can, and Daniel Hakikachu, a lot of them do the same thing. They can destroy the other person's position. But then when you say, well, what's your position? What do you have to offer?
See, here is where we start diverging. Because, yes, on a base level, Andrew has sometimes use people's logic against them. But sometimes he has to distort and do the most silly, like, mental gymnastics. Like when he was telling Craig in his opening on DebateCon, he didn't make a case for Christianity and rather made a super strongman case. Like, oh yeah, according to the Secular Humanist Manifesto, we could just grab women and put them on a baby making factory and that would be okay because it would save the human race. And it's like, dude, that is just wild. That is an asinine take. I think that is dishonest on one side, but I think that they have to resort to dishonesty because they're not smart enough to make an actual argument. I think that's where we diverge.
Can I briefly jump in here? Waste to Human, please tell me I didn't walk in on a bunch of guys discussing feminism without the input of women. If you look at the very top of the chat, you'll notice a StreamYard link. Notice that it's available to everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, please continue.
I missed that. But yeah, I mean, we have a bunch of lady friends of the channel. And I mean, it is the way it is. Like everyone is welcome here. And there are ladies in the chat, and I don't see any of them saying, like, I don't feel represented. And also, we're not debating. We are discussing a debate in which there was a woman participating in feminism. So, a hit and a miss. Hit and miss. Better luck next time. I think, Isa, that's where we diverge in our views of how these people are, because I think that they have to resort to dishonesty because they have nothing. I don't think smart people go around. Like, you don't see PhD debates and them like straw manning the hell out of each other and saying like, oh yeah, the logical entailment of your position is that you will turn Canada into Pakistan. You just don't see that happening.
Yeah,
right?
I also want to give a little bit of a pushback, not a big one, but I don't think being able to argue as if you believe the other person's position is a sign of intelligence. That's just a sign that you know how to bullshit better than most people. That's more of a lying skill rather than a measure of intelligence, in my opinion. A good way of measuring intelligence, in my opinion, is how well you explain your own position, but you explain it in such a way that it's digestible to somebody who hasn't studied this subject as thoroughly as you have. So, for example, when I try to debate flat earthers, I always break it down as simply as possible. And if I'm able to do that, that means I have a really, really good understanding of it. If someone else is able to do that, then that's impressive to me. And I would say that that person is extremely intelligent as a result.
Fair.
So
give me 1 second. Entertain the people. I'm going to get water to the toilet and I'll be right back, okay?
What, you're not bringing us with you?
That's funny. Yeah, I think so. What you're basically saying, Red, is that you're saying that you know how to be a teacher. You understand pedagogy. Like you can teach. That's what teachers do. Like I'm trained as a special ed teacher. So what you do as teachers is you have to take complex information and make it digestible for your audience. I think that's definitely a helpful tool that you are able to. You're a good communicator, and you're basically a teacher of whatever substance you have. A lot of teachers in school are actually not very good at doing that. They can't actually teach the substance that they have.
Yeah, I just have very shitty motivations because the way I get, at least I think I'm good at it. Other people may say I'm shit at it, and you know that's fine, their opinion. But in my opinion, I'm good at it, and the reason why I've become accepting that as fact for a moment, the reason why I believe I'm good at it is because I've just been so motivated to explain my point in such a way that they really can't misunderstand it without exposing themselves as completely dishonest. So it's kind of like if you're able to argue for the other side, you're just lying, because that's not a position that you genuinely hold. But if you're able to sell it as if you do hold that position, then that's more of a measure of dishonesty, and at least in my opinion. And so not really a measure of intelligence. It's really a measure of how well am I able to bullshit people, which is a skill on its own, I will accept, but maybe not the measure that we're looking for. It's a slight disagreement. It is a disagreement. I do accept that. But you know, I don't see that as valid criteria.
Well, the thing is, if you're debating someone and you don't know their position, and all you know how to do is promote your own position, I don't know. I think that you're stuck in an echo chamber. I think there's a little bit of a difficulty there. Like for example, I debated flat Earth, so I learned the flat Earth argument, and I learned it well enough that I could represent the flat Earth position. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can represent the flat Earth position too. It's here you go. Let me try it. Let's try this. No, CGI. It's all NASA, man. It's all the lizard people, Illuminati, and they're shooting fucking lasers in the sky to give holograms of the International Space Station, man. And the only way you can see it is with a Nikon P1000, and but not in the hands of globies, because they're holding it wrong.
I think if you said that to a flat earther, they'd be like, "Yeah, that's not my position." They'd be like, "You're strong."
No, that I would disagree, because that is exactly their fucking position.
Well,
just look at or better yet, look at Awake Souls with his Pac-Man son, and his entire argument can be boiled down to waka 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 waka.
But see, that's the problem if you're debating someone and you can't actually represent their position well. Like if you go and you do that type of thing, what you're saying is that's a caricature. That's not actually their position. That's not the way they view their position. That's the way you view their position. But if you said it to them, they're like, yeah, you're making a caricature. For you, how they would represent you is like, oh, you're just a person who's a brainwashed, a brainwashed automaton that follows whatever the government says. There's ways that people can do caricatures, but the thing is, I think a really good debater is someone who's like, I could debate your position like a lawyer. Like if in law, like you say, look, if we did mock trial, I could take your position and I could sell your position in a way that is palatable. And I think that's where I think a lot of people believe flat earth comes from, is people mock trial where people are debating and they're like, hey, how would it be if I debated flat earth? I think that's a kind of a cute idea of where flat earth may have come from. So
it's a difference between boiling it down or using very fancy words to make yourself sound more photosynthesis. They like, for example, it's the Whitsitt approach. Whitsitt's arguments can literally be boiled down to everything a Globie says is a fallacy, even if it's not a fallacy. How many? There was literally one guy, I believe, that wanted to have a drinking game, and every time Whitsitt accuses the other person of committing a fallacy, we would all just take a drink. You would have alcohol poisoning by the end of the night, guaranteed. We know exactly what's going to happen. Just because we're not using fancy words or the words that they were used does not mean we're not explaining it correctly. Awake Souls, their argument is Pac-Man's son. That's it. Mm-hmm. That can be boiled down to waka 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 waka. With Whitsitt, his entire argument is everything a Globie says is a fallacy because I say it is. And when you look at Dearth's arguments are, hey, I misrepresented these photos from Apollo as 3 different Apollo missions, therefore Earth is flat. We can just boil that down to he's a lying piece of shit and everyone should know that. I would say the true mark of intelligence is being able to identify their bullshit and boil their bullshit down in as few words as possible. And when we do that with Whitsitt, when we do that with Awake Souls, when we do that with Dearth, people get essentially the gist of the entire thing, and they didn't need to sit through a 2-hour PowerPoint presentation in order to understand where they are coming from. They're coming from a place of complete horseshit, and I think that can be described in very, very few words.
What fresh derp is this? With all due respect, I felt like I was watching 2 slow people debate tonight. It was really bizarre.
It seems to me that there was a problem with being prepared. And here's what I would say. I would say that they should redo the debate. They should redo the debate, as much of a pain in the ass as that would be. I think what they should do is redo the debate, and they should take the time to properly prepare for it. And I would say that it is a requirement that during your debate, during your opening statement, during the part where you're laying out your case, you have to present a PowerPoint.
Sorry, I said Rise Above. Sorry, I said Fresh Derp. When I read the comment initially, I misread it, and I thought you were calling us slow. So I'm sorry about that. And Hannah says, "Oh, look who resurfaced, Red. Oh, he's been around here a while."
I've been around, kinda, sorta. I mean, I'm not really posting that much that much content anymore. That's true, but that's just because I've been extremely busy. Work has been kicking my ass, but I really can't complain. I'm making money. I'm happy. I got food in the fridge, a roof over my head. All's good at this moment in time. So, priorities.
Good of you to drop by, Hannah. Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. I've been dropping by the MDD Discord this past couple of days. It's as derpy as ever. I've been triggering the head of some Christians there.
Yeah, apparently
they get so triggered.
Let me highlight something. How come we never see the sun at night?
Oh, that
open
was
dirt.
so good. Yes. I had to, Isa, you mentioned it. We're going to have what I think will be the debate of 2025: Daniel Hakikachu versus Andrew Wilson. That is going to be a battle of sophistry and dishonesty. It's going to be horrible and it's going to be amazing. So everyone should be waiting for that because they both have the exact same style of just steamrolling and railroading the other and not making really in that sense, Daniel actually does have a little bit of an advantage because Daniel does a lot of research into the opponent's position and he finds all the dirt. So it should be, at the very least, interesting. One detail is that they're not going to stream all of the debates from DebateCon. They're going to publish them in the following weeks. They're going to publish them little by little, which is a little bit sad. They're only going to broadcast one of the debates live, which is unfortunate, but James explained why and said that when they broadcast all, people start watching but then stop part through the day. So I guess it makes sense in a way, but it's a little bit sad. The man, the legend, PhD Tony says, Andrew Wilson is a vaguely human-shaped sack of disease-riddled excrement. Thank you for that. Yes, I agree. But I don't know. Isa tells me that he wasn't that bad. And I get that. I get it that you might present yourself because I'm super nice. Like most people know that I'm super nice. I'm very chill. We're calm. If we can have a debate and we can heavily disagree, but if you're not an asshole, I'm not going to be an asshole.
And
so
also,
in that sense, I get it.
And let's be clear. Not only is Max really nice, he also smells like strawberries.
That is my favorite perfume. No, I use Blue Seduction by Antonio Banderas. If anyone is interested, because
Yep.
But,
I think that a lot of it is just it's a show. Like when I met Witsit, it was just like that. It's all of it is a show, and I'm like, in a capitalist world, I can't blame these people. I just can't.
It does feel that way. It does feel like a show.
So like people get mad at OnlyFans. I'm like, these people are just using these systems and they're making money from it. And they like it. So I'm like, I mean, I just think you can't really complain about OnlyFans if you're promoting like conservative politics and you're doing it and people are throwing money at you. I'm like, okay. If that's what you want to play, I mean, cool.
Honestly, if you have what it takes to work it on OnlyFans and make a living, more power to you.
Mm-hmm. Tony says, I can see Isa disapproves of my characterization of Mr. Wilson. Well, Isa is too kind. Isa is super kind, so don't take it the wrong way. Isa just I am Isa's fighting horse.
It's not that I'm completely disproving. What I'm trying to say, PhD Tony, is that a lot of these folks, what they're doing is they're making money. When you see Howard Stern, when you see shock jocks on the radio, I don't know, like I've been to Australia, but I didn't listen to the radio there. So I don't know if you have like shock jocks on the radio. But do you think those people really believe there's actually a great movie. It's a crazy movie. It's called The Last Supper. And it's about these like liberals who are at this table and they all eat dinner together. And then what happens is one of the nights they accidentally kill a conservative. So they hide the conservative's body. And then basically every night they invite conservatives to come over and people who disagree with them and they kill them. And then they bury them in the backyard. And then what they're doing is they're listening to the shock jock on the radio. And eventually the shock jock comes over to the dinner and he's like really not like a conservative. He's like, yeah, I talk like that on the radio. Like it's a performance that I'm doing, and they're like kind of blown away by it, like it's not what they expected. They think he's like this evil guy, but he's just a dude making money.
I've seen a debate about this. Let me highlight a comment real quick. It was a Steel City. As a frugal male, I just don't get how people pay for OnlyFans. Like there is so much free stuff out there. Yes,
I know.
Absolutely. But Here's the other side of that. They know for a fact that the free stuff that you're seeing, like on whatever site that you're going to, the woman is most likely getting the shitty end of that deal. They don't actually own the content that they are starring in, and as a result, it's a little bit less moral in their eyes to consume that content. Whereas on OnlyFans, they can consume that content while having their morals in check, I guess, because they're actively supporting the person that is in those videos or posing for those images. It becomes a moral argument at that point. And you'll see a few interviews from women that were in the industry saying that, oh yeah, I did this scene and I only got like $1,000. Meanwhile, the producer is walking away with 20, 30, 40, 50 grand of what is essentially my money. That's complete bullshit. Whereas with OnlyFans, they're actually getting most of that money. If I remember correctly, I think OnlyFans, I could be wrong here, only takes like a 3% cut or 4% cut, something like that. And if you are really, really good at what you do, then you're going to be making a shit ton of money, and that 3% cut doesn't matter to you.
20% is what the OnlyFans takes, which
I
is
was way off.
It's less than YouTube takes. YouTube takes 30%.
Yeah, YouTube takes 30%. Okay, I was way off there, 20%. But even then, at 20%, it's different than the stories that you hear where the producer will walk away with $50,000 and the female actor doesn't get dilly shit for as a percentage of that. So they see it as more of a moral thing. It's like, if I'm going to be consuming this content, I want to actually be supporting the person starring in the content. So
there is another aspect of OnlyFans in particular, is that you get direct message access to the people. So there, and it's not that good because it creates some parasocial relationships that are super imbalanced. For example, there's been a case going all over Facebook. This guy paid $10,000 to meet an OnlyFans girl, and went there, hang out, gave her a little hug, and 2 days later she was posting vacation pictures with her husband, of course, with the $10,000 she had just got. So I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think it's conducive to anything good to create like fake parasocial relationships with people who are really not interested. So there's also a lot of that going on. So I think that's why people
there needs to be proper disclosures there. I would definitely agree with you there, Max. There's definitely need to be proper disclosure, but there are people out there that do give those disclosures out there, and they're still making a shit ton of money. And you know what? More power to them.
Yep. Tony had said OnlyFans is not poisoning our public discord and destroying our democratic institutions. That's what it boils down. When you want to take away the voting rights from women, that's eroding democracy. That's going back to worse times. And I don't know why they want that. Because they usually think that they will be on that they will be one of the cool guys. Like on the Jubilee video we were reviewing, the fascist was saying, oh yeah, no, but they won't come after me. And inevitably, when there's no one else to come after, they will come after you. I think there's a poem that said, first they came for the Jews, but I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the women and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a woman. Then they came for whatever and they didn't speak up. And then they came for me and there was no one to speak up for me.
Yep.
And I'll get that poem because I don't remember.
And laughing my ass off, if someone thinks they are going to marry their favorite creator just because they donated, they are delusional. Yes, I would agree with that. No one should go into this with that expectation, and they should have They should have a come to Jesus conversation with someone who cares about them.
Tony also said, and while some right-wing shock jokes or whatever may be performative, that doesn't make their impact on our society any less destructive. Yeah, I think that's a huge motivation of why, we do what we do here is we want to promote better stuff, right?
So do people really care about OnlyFans a lot, or just
they do?
The conservative people only care. I mean,
They use it as a punching bag.
If you watch like Gunsmoke, Miss Kitty was basically ran the brothel in the country western, wholesome country western. Maybe a couple of you people know what I'm talking about. Old country western show called Gunsmoke. We're doing this forever. I don't quite get why there's so much energy around talking about OnlyFans specifically. There's pornography. There's forms of prostitution, there's all this stuff, and suddenly OnlyFans is like this really important thing. Conservatives seem to bring up a lot of these debates. I'm not really sure why there's so much energy around it.
Here we go. To the point, to have evidence, to the point of what Dr. J just said. This is an article, and I will share the link to you peeps. This is an article of ancient pornography. So this was considered pornographic when it was made, right? And then we start moving. We have figurines. We have paintings. We have this. We have this. We have this. We have this. And this is all ancient. So don't get me like degeneracy is affecting society. I mean, yes, humans have a connection to sexuality. We've always had. Dude, this is a satyr fucking a goat. And people tell me, oh no, this is only modern stuff. Like, dude, you're telling me that you don't think that cavemen painted boobs in... oh, shoot. You don't think that cavemen painted boobs in the caves, right?
I mean, if they're thinking that shit, then they're just deluded. No, porn's we've been obsessed about sex forever. Okay.
Yeah. And it used to be more open, and then until the restrictions started being placed on demonstrations of sexuality and that kind of a thing, and then the powers that be recognize that restrictions helped control people, because if people are free, then you have less control over them, right? So that's when those laws started happening. But we went from the Greeks, which were absolute degenerates, great thinkers, but absolute degenerate in the way that I use degenerate, in the positive way, right?
They found out that if you control the sex, you can control entire nations.
Yeah. And if you control the sex, you can control the women, and if you control the women, you can control the population. And yeah, it's been a journey in that sense. But I always laugh on when people say that pornography is a bad thing. And the crusade against OnlyFans, I completely don't understand why they are riled up against that and not really against pornography.
It's pearl clutching. That's basically, and it would go back to the whole performative nature of the whole fucking thing,
right? And in case you were wondering, what I was watching a little blacksmithing video. That's how dirty I am. I was watching making knife making,
and also I heard a a fun fact. It's like, isn't prostitution like the oldest profession?
It is something that people say.
It is a thing that people say, but it kind of leads to this idea that this isn't a new concept, and like, so you really can't blame modern HD pornography on that concept being a concept. I'm sorry, that shit was there long before we had 4K cameras to record.
Yeah. And if you want to go forward, one of the first things that we photographed after the invention of the technology was naked people. Yeah, I'm watching a blacksmithing video on making knives. I find it fascinating, and I don't have that skill, so it's mesmerizing. But yeah, very shortly after the technology for photographs was developed, people were taking naked pictures. People made naked oil paintings of stuff that was considered pornography, like in ancient times, before pictures were even developed. And then after we developed film technology, what did we do? The first thing was it's a very old film of a couple kissing, and by that time that was scandalous, right? So it is ubiquitous across human history. And when they say, oh yeah, we should ban pornography because it's bad and yada yada, it's like, dude, that genie is not going back. That cat is out and about, and it's not going back in the bag ever.
Yeah, I mean, and porn has been around this entire time, and the conservatives still got their F-22 Raptor, the ultimate machine in unhealth care technology.
It is quite a thing why they have that fixation with porn and that kind of stuff. I killed there. Hello, says there's porn depicted in Pompeii. Yeah, and I showed a bunch. I'll share the link again. This is a very interesting read, and it's very interesting. Very interesting art. Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
I was gonna say I've been to Pompeii and seen them. I mean, basically, part of the tour, they'll walk you through the brothel. They'll show you different images, and it seems like what they did was they would basically pick which image probably they wanted, because they didn't speak the same language, so they would use the images on the overhead for the guys to point to say what kind of things they wanted, because they wouldn't be able to communicate verbally.
Huh, interesting. So it was like a catalog of women in ancient Pompeii, right?
No, a catalog of positions.
Oh, of positions. Okay, I thought that it was of the. Okay, got it. Slightly different, but that's very interesting.
Yep.
I'll do this real quick. Let me show screens. Here we go, just to kind of drive the point home. Do you want to know when this was invented? This aircraft right here.
After
it was invented when we had porn.
and the ISS also.
And the International Space Station and all the rockets and stuff. I mean, look at this. Isn't this not the most gorgeous murder machine you've ever seen in your life?
Murder machine.
This is peak unhealth care technology.
It is, yes. That is.
And we built this. We built this engineering example of pure badassery during the porno years, which was all the years.
Yeah. And the Large Hadron Collider, and we went to the moon, and
I'm pretty sure people were watching porn during the construction of that thing.
I mean, when we get those rockets that they're doing the suborbital flight, when they get them high enough so that you can have 5-10 minutes of weightlessness, SpaceX is going to absolutely be a thing, and it will drive space technology forward leaps and bounds when they can actually rent those rockets for people to have sex in them. I mean, that would be my, if I were either Bezos or Elon, I would be trying to get that done. Like, okay, yeah, have SpaceX, and people would freaking pay for it nonstop. I think that would be the way to move that tech forward. And I don't know how anyone would argue differently.
So we should probably talk about the rest of the debate. We didn't talk about the closing arguments and stuff. We should probably cover the rest of that.
Go ahead. Start.
Okay, I'll start us off. So so Mahleej or Mali kind of went into the position that I think she fairly pushed back against Jake and saying there was a fixation on Pakistan. She kind of sort of reified that position that Jake is the Pakistani, which I thought was pretty wild. She kind of was talking about, like, you know, the value of Canada, like Dr. J was bringing up, like that she's happy about being Canadian. It was weird because kind of talking about the conversations, she kind of took this sort of standard conservative positions as well too, where she's like, she was like, well, Pakistan is a hellhole and we need to get into, the Western nations are good. And I'm like, it's a little more complex and nuanced than that. It's not really, oh, these Western cultures are just great and wonderful. They did a lot of horrible things, what they did to indigenous people. Like, there's a lot of problems that existed. And I think that's one of the things that I find a little dishonest. Like, they're like, in UK, they're like, look at the Pakistani rape gangs. And I'm like, did you know that Britain did, like, colonialism, imperialism around the world? Like, do you know what they did to South Asia? Do you know what Winston Churchill did to Bengali people? Like, do we know these things? We don't, because we don't talk about them. We kind of brush the indiscretions under the rug. Do we want to talk about what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki from America? Do we want to talk about Agent Orange that was dropped in Vietnam? We don't want to talk about these things because it doesn't work with our narrative of the good Western culture that's so progressive and it's so noble and it's so good. We don't want to talk about these things because it disrupts the narrative of progress, which I think is problematic. I don't like that. I don't like when people come and just say everything's good. I think all of these cultures have things that are positive and things that are not so positive. They're complex, they're nuanced, they're difficult.
The mistake that's being made here, sorry to cut you off, I'm just going to have to go really soon here. The mistake that's being made is that if they were to change this, but with this one little trick, everything will be good. I got news for you. Let's go ahead and do this. In a world where women do not have the right to vote, they have no rights, and they're never going to get them. The world is going to be shit. Complete and total shit. In a world where women do have rights, that world is still going to be some flavor of shit. Because guess what? Men and women are part of these things called the human species, and we're complicated motherfuckers. And sometimes we do fucked up shit. And it doesn't matter what gender we are. Everyone is capable of doing fucked up shit. So this one weird trick is not going to work. And he has this idea in his head that it will work. No, just stop. Go outside, touch some grass. Fuck.
Isa, continue if you want.
Please. Yeah, sure, of course. So I agree. I think it's complex, it's nuanced, it's difficult. It's not just some simplistic, here's good, here's bad. It's a very complex, difficult situation. So I find that to be bizarre when I hear this kind of narrative. But the ending argument was, I think she did pretty well with her closing argument. I think she tied up her stuff on that situation. I think she made fair engagements to Jake. I don't necessarily feel like I got a good argument for feminism. I don't really feel I understood, like, this is the important thing. You're arguing why, feminism has helped society. I didn't really get that in the debate. I got a lot of Pakistan. I got a lot of, like, we need good Western values. I didn't really get what feminism was. I didn't really get how feminism helps us. If I'm going to debate feminism, I need to know what these things are. And I don't think she really, in her conclusion, helped us get to that point, which I think is the strongest point. But relatively for the debate and engaging with the elements that were there, I think she did good with that. Jake went on his same kind of rhetorical position of, society is degraded. We need to reclaim a better society. We need the good society, the true society, the noble society.
Whatever the fuck that means.
I mean, that for his rhetorical position, that's what he's always arguing for, and it's like that's what Jim Bob argues for. That's what Dragon Arts is arguing for. That's what Andrew Wilson. It's the same kind of rhetorical thing. It's like there's a good society. It's a good Christian society, and that will keep everything whole. And I think he was very consistent across the board, and he just went home with the same kind of position. And he was like, oh, and he did a little quirk at Mahleej. He kept doing this actually in the conversation too. He's like, "You're helping my point. You're helping my point." He kept saying that thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
I was losing my shit. What a douche.
Everything he was saying is, "You're helping my argument." He's like, "You're supporting what I'm saying."
Okay, okay. Oh, you're helping my argument. You're helping my argument. Okay, fine. Then shut the fuck up and take the W.
So yeah, that's what he felt that he had got it down. Like if he on his channel, he said he called himself Lord Jake, right? Versus crazy feminist. It was Lord Jake versus the crazy feminist, on his channel.
I explained that. I explained that to you, and why that is also another one of the reasons why I think he's a complete moron, is that he bought a title from one of these companies that popped out around 2 years and that kind of a thing, right? That they were selling you for like $80 a plot of land, supposedly in Scotland, that would grant you a paper that because of some common custom.
Oh, established titles.
Yes, he bought one of those.
I have one too.
So he calls himself a lord, but it's a gimmick. It's like, okay, if you buy it for fun because you say like, okay, yeah, whatever, fine, but if you're using an internet scam as an argument, because he's used the Lord argument as, for example, as a counter argument for trans debates, right? That's how dumb he is.
Yeah, that sounds like one hell of a twist right there. I would love to see him fold himself into a pretzel trying to make that connection. With that, I am going to head on off. Got to work tomorrow, and it's 1:15 in the morning. So, guys, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate
anytime.
it.
Take care. Thank you so much.
It's great. I enjoyed speaking with all three of you. And Max, let me just say once again, you definitely smell like strawberries. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Take care. If you haven't subscribed to Red, he's one of the banes of Flat Earthers, so I'll leave you the link there. Does some great astronomy stuff. And one thing before you go, I wanted to tell you that a lot of people judge you as a bit of an asshole because you always debate Flat Earthers. But here we've had differences of opinion. We've gone back and forth, and it's been a pleasure. So I mean, you give what you take. And I think that is awesome. So thank you, Reds.
Not a problem. Have a good night.
Take care. All right. And we should maybe start winding down. Any more thoughts maybe on something else you have on your mind? And then the closings, Dr. J?
I think I'm ready to close up, I think.
All righty.
Yep.
All righty. That chair looks comfy compared to your previous chair.
The previous chair was better. Previous chair was better. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong.
I accept.
It's a very nice recliner situation here, but the other one was better.
Okay, fair enough.
The other one I specifically picked out for the situation that I wanted. I had my monitor mounted on the wall, and it would go in front of me. This is like the 3-month temporary situation. It's still great, but I'm a little bit making do.
Hannah says, have a good night. You too. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you're doing well. Catherine MC says, I don't really know any feminism arguments. It should be normal. Vote for all, choices, education for women. It's wild that those men are suddenly separating women in those terms. Well, Jake said that because women are not having as many kids because or are postponing having kids because they are going to superior education, college, university, etc. He literally said, and I quote, we should disincentivize women from going into higher education. And Jake, I'll do this for just 1 second. Jake, I know that you would love nothing else than the world was filled with dumb bitches. But there are some of us who get a massive hard on by a woman being smart. And you will never take that away from us. Smart women are sexy, and the problem is that smart women run away from you. So fuck you, Jake. And with that, anything else? Final thoughts, Mr. Isa.
So I was wrapping up quickly about what I saw on, the full debate. I personally feel it was hard to say about a winner because it didn't really focus on the topic. I don't know. I really think you should focus on the topic. Like, the greatest drop I've seen was the Daniel Hakikachu versus David Wood when they were debating, who supports Christ more, Islam or Christianity. I was like, dude, the point is you got to focus on why Islam supports Christ. You got to focus on that. That's what you're debating. And in this debate, I think it really went off the rails. It went into Pakistan. Like, the whole debate was Pakistan. And I'm like, I didn't really feel, and inbred children and how terrible that is. And I think when we're debating something, we need to focus. It's important to focus in on the space because we're trying to have a conversation on that. But overall, I feel, Mahleej is doing better. And I agree with you on that. And I think she did bring the personal anecdotes, which is, I hear that. But I think it would be beneficial to keep focusing on, trying to create a broader argument. I think she tried, and I think she did okay. I think Jake did exactly what he wanted to do. I think it's the same thing that I see with Jim Bob and Andrew Wilson. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They want to discredit the other position and show that they're strong. That's what they wanted to do, and I think that he succeeded in that because, you look at the poll, he brought all his followers, and he had 84% of all the votes. So he, according to how modern day debate works, he won the debate. He won the debate because he had the majority of people who supported him. It does. That's how it works in modern day debates. Whoever gets the most votes wins. Whether we agree with it or not.
It has a huge audience. It's super it's not 1-to-1. I think.
I get that, but it's not fair. None of these places. It's not supposed to be fair. You know what I mean?
No, sure.
It's on an unfair level playing field. So whoever, if you bring the most people in, it's a popularity contest. Like in any election, it doesn't matter if the candidate's good. It matters if if they get more people to support them. So he got a lot of people to support him. He had 84% of the vote. So what I think overall is he has a market and he's very good at marketing what he does. I feel kind of bad for Mahleej. It's hard. It's a hard audience to pull. 14% against 85% it's rough, but overall, I mean,
but she doesn't give a fuck.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't give a fuck. Go watch her. I tried to contact her on Twitter to do an interview, and her Twitter, for some reason that is linked on the video, is offline. But I did contact her on Instagram. Just look at her Instagram. She's smart. She's beautiful. And that makes men very uncomfortable.
I hear that. I think overall, I would have loved to see more of a conversation on feminism. I would be interested in defining feminism. Are you talking about first wave feminism, second wave feminism, third wave, fourth wave? I mean, these are parts of if you're going to engage, particularly American feminism, which I think is what we're talking about, is American feminism.
Correct. Yeah.
We're not, and it's because everything revolves around America.
It does. I mean? Yeah.
It's so weird. Everything revolves around America, and I'm like,
yeah.
Like, and a lot of Americans have never even left America. Like, it's wild.
That
They've
is
never
true.
been to any other country. Like me, I've been to Australia, Germany, Costa Rica. I've been to a lot of different places, and it gives you a very different perspective. You know what I mean? When you actually go and travel the world, you see something very different than what's just in America,
Oh yeah,
So,
traveling opens up your mind
it
so
does.
much. And
It does.
I've traveled a little bit in South America here. It's not that I've gone to like radically different cultures. I've been to Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Chile. But it's the best money you can spend. It's traveling and seeing the world and meeting new people and eating new stuff, and it just changes you so much. But Jake has traveled. Jake said that he was in the Peace Corps and that he's traveled extensively. So how is he still an asshole? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. NASA Security Force gifted 5 Yerba Mate Talks memberships. Thank you so much. And they went to Pajo Lee, I Killed Earl, Frody Nays, Charles Arnold, and James Stewart. Thank you so much. And then also said this, Bro Humbly, women having a voice just seems like a problem for men. When the downtrodden come up, power sees it as repressing. Yeah, I agree. That we talked about men being like really intimidated by strong women and that kind of a thing. I love it. I love a strong woman that doesn't have to be with you, but chooses to be with you every day, because you know that if you annoy her enough that she can just leave, but she still chooses to be with you, and that forces you to be better every day, or at least to not decay in the relationship and that kind of a thing. And that's a very powerful thing. And finally, before we go, Catherine, I grew up literally being told that women and children should be seen and not heard. Also, there are women in the house. The man shouldn't need to do anything. And yes, it was shouted with force and enforced with violence. I believe you, because I know many cases of many testimonies of this. We all probably know. And yeah, it is sad, but I'm glad it's changing. And I think one of the best compliments, it's actually the second best in my subjective ranking, right? The best compliment I ever got is like, you're not, I love it that you're not like those men, and that you see me as equal, and that this relationship, we're both like in the same place. And the best compliment I ever got was, you speak very pretty. And that was the best one that I ever got. All righty. Anything else you would like before we go? Or are we covered?
My closing, I wanted to mention Thursday. Planning on doing my show again, same time as last week.
Go.
So hopefully we'll be consistent on that. If I've said anything tonight you would like to change my mind about, call in Thursday. There'll be an opportunity to discuss it with me. I've thought about, Max, maybe we could talk about this, doing some shorts, trying to make the most spicy takes I can. I'm not really good at spicy takes, but maybe I can come up with some. And if people want to try to change my mind about it on Thursday, we can kind of go through that exercise and also discuss the idea of changing our minds, why we change our minds as we continue through the book that we're going over. So planning on doing that.
Same time on Thursday.
Time. Yep.
All right. I have to tell you, I love that you both have like your own shows. I love it. I love it, and people love it, and they will continue to grow. It's just keeping on it, but I love it. So it's just like not me all the time, right? But the audience loves both of you, and I think you should like really continue with both. And I'm super excited that you're both starting your own shows. Isa, when's your next show?
My show's on Fridays.
Fridays.
Yeah, I think we're gonna figure out the time, like a best time for that. It might be more in the evening, but we'll see. We had it at like 5:30, but it might be a little earlier, and might be a little later. We're going to solidify the time on that, but we're going to be reading Read and Reflect, and we're focusing on the Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie. We've read the first chapter. We did some coverage, and I think it's really an interesting book because a lot of controversy around it, but a lot of people have never read the book and they don't know what's going on with it. So, you know, we want to kind of like expose people and broaden people, because that's what we love to do on this channel, is get people to think deeper. So
yeah, love it. Love that we're growing. We're making new shows. That is absolutely amazing. Before we go, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and just subscribe to Share About the Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. Always a pleasure to do a show with both of you at the same time. That's when I'm most excited. I love it. People in the audience, thank you so much for all your support. We'll catch you whenever we have a show. I have no idea anymore. Take care. Have a good night. And we'll see you when we see you.